Good morning, Sunday in Pennsylvania, Eastern Standard Time. So I'm up. I can't sleep really late on any time, especially on the weekends. I just want to get up and do stuff. I got a whole list of things to do, and ironically, because I made a little list, a little checklist, but what I'm doing now wasn't on the checklist, but it has to be done. So anyway, I'm reading the book, Death Was a Salesman. And I didn't start reading it. I'm still on the, what do you call these? I guess introduction. And it's just talking about Arthur Miller and the backstory, which is not in the audio book. I was going to skip it because normally I don't read those things, but it gives you context for the story. And I was reading just a minute ago, and I'm gonna read it. Here it's all right, right here. So it says, for Mary, she doesn't need a last name. For Mary, always suspicious of American playwrights, a disturbing aspect of Death of a Salesman was that Linda and Willie Loman seemed to be Jewish. And come down a little further, it says, insisting that Miller's coded ethnicity was a product of the more anti-Semitic climate of the 1940s and 50s. 1940s and 50s. We're in 2022, and it's saying 1940s and 50s. And this book, I don't think it's banned or on any list, and it's just one line. Specifically, he says, there's a line where she says, attention must finally be paid to such a person. Which is not, how do they phrase it? They say, it is not the normal American locution. Like when I find a word I don't know, I don't be pulling out dictionaries and shit. But I feel like it's not the normal dialect. It's not the normal vernacular. And then she says, the wife says, finally, she said, Willie, that's the main character. Willie answers a question with another question. I didn't know that was specific to certain races, but nevertheless. And his wife reverses the normal sentence structure. To fix the hot water, it costs $97.50. Again. But as the lady said, it's coded ethnicity. That's on some, like right now we're on this. He blinked 3 times. That's racist. And they just go into it. I saw this thing yesterday. It was, they were talking about, it was Cedric the Entertainer was talking to some guy. I don't know the guy. He's pretty famous. You probably know him, whatever. And he was just saying, when he looks at Kings of Comedy, Bernie Mac, Eddie Murphy, like just the comics back then, he's like, yep, we can't say this anymore. We can't talk about that. That would have been banned. And the way Cedric was dancing around everything, because he knows if he says 3 words and someone pieces them together, he's going to get canceled. He's going to lose his... He has a TV show. I don't know if it's on Reruns, syndicated or whatever, but it's on, and he plays the racist... Not racist, but... He basically plays an updated version of Archie Bunker and Sanford and the Jeffersons, because they all had that tone. And they would run around just calling people racist things because that was the times, you know. But it really couldn't happen now because people would be so quick to be like, which is just weird. But my point is, this book was, when was this book made or written? I want to say 19 1940s, 1949. And it's just like I'm trying to put it in the context. So in 1949, what were black people doing? 1949. So 1930s, 1950s. So the civil rights was 60s. So 50s. I mean, music era. I believe Duke Ellington was doing his thing. Dun, 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 dun. So maybe big, big band, big band. Um, Louis Armstrong was prior to like. I know it sounds all random and stuff, but I just did my little deep dive into like great jazz musicians. Da, 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 da. So now that gives me a backdrop to when they're throwing out dates. 1945. Like, what was going on? So black people at that time were just coming from the South and bettering themselves, moving to Chicago and car things and trying to make a life for themselves. I think the Depression hit. I think around this time would be Prohibition. So there would be gangsters. And then how the gangsters tie in, um, I think it was Louis Armstrong. He was saying that they would perform at these establishments where the gangsters basically were running the shit. And they couldn't fraternize. They came there for black music, but they couldn't fraternize with the customers. And the gangsters would be cool because they just like be throwing money around. And he was saying, when the gangsters came, like and these are gangsters with which, I mean, I'm again all over the place. So I was watching, so I follow on Pete Rock, Chocolate Boy Wonder, on Instagram. And he always posts, it's like a world star type. And he posts, here's 5-year-old making beats on a beat machine. That's kind of cool, whatever. And then he posts random animals like killing each other, whatever. But he also posts like black people fighting other black people in the morning. Like I look and there it is. So yesterday on Thanksgiving he posted one, and it was two people fist fighting. But they were like really, I don't know. I've never been in a fist fight, but it wasn't like they were just swinging a whole bunch of times and talking shit, swinging, talking shit, swinging, talking shit. And then the one guy grabbed him up and he's like, no wrestling, no wrestling. And then the people around him are just watching him. And then finally he hits him, but it almost looked like he missed him and he just fell. Maybe they're doing it for the gram. I don't know. So he falls down and then the guy steps back. He's like, get up, get up, get up. And then the people around are like, all right, we're done. We're done. And I guess then they went inside and had turkey. I don't know. It just ends there. So then in the comments section, which is, it's a thing now. You read what people think about the thing you just watched. And they're like, that's when men used to be men and they used to fight with their hands and not with the guns. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense because weren't the gangsters running around with like the big machine guns and it wasn't like Boys in the Hood and the Spike Lee movies. I can't say all the Spike Lees, but when they depict inner cities, it was usually drive-bys and stuff like that, which would be the 19th John Singleton era. So, is this a case of art imitating life or life imitating art? And then gangster rap was basically, I roll up on you with 50 this. There's a guy named 40 Glock. You can see where my drift is going. So everyone's just talking about when people used to use their hands to settle things, but I kind of filter all that stuff out. In the same way when I listen to Eminem, all the drugs he listed, I don't do the drugs or the what. So he's like, I did, how he goes, or he's like, so Stan, I'm all over the place. So Stan, that song, it was a great story, but I didn't get into it like, wow, this guy's really messed up in the head. It was just a really nice kind of sixth sense. Oh, shit. Isn't that the person I just talked to? Because we really... Well, I guess there's always been great storytellers. Shout out to Slick Rick and Face. Scarface, but he had to change his name because I guess the movie made him the. Anyway, they always told stories. A lot of people told stories, but this was like kind of shiny and it had the. So it's like right up there, and then. But but back to my point. Let me Inception come back. So I'm so far away from this book right now. Oh, my point was the gangsters in the story with Louis Armstrong. He said sometimes they would they would come in there and be shooting, and he'd be on stage while the drum, like the music would, like it's a full band, like then the people start shooting up whatever, and everyone starts ducking, and he's still. So So to say that people didn't use guns, they always did. It was how the West was won, right? Don't come to a gunfight with a knife. Like, but that's neither here. That's another conversation. But all that. So for me, so this is how it works, right? I was reading the book as I did, and all these ideas and images from the books I read, from a post I seen, to some thoughts I was thinking about, and remember, I'm making a whole album based on this book, and it's actually a play. So it's written in play form. But this is just, and it's crazy because I'm making a video, so I'm being all animated. But if I was just sitting there reading in the library, I just like in my brain, like, oh my God, but I would just be sitting there looking bored. So my dad, he'd be like, he just sits there. But in my brain, it's just like, pew, pew, pew. And then when I talk to people, I'm talking to you guys. But in normal things, I just don't care. Like if I'm watching TV and what's something that just happened? Well, it didn't just happen. I just seen it a second ago. Iggy Azalea sold her catalog for, I think, $8 million or something, $6 million. And I'm sure this sounds like, but she's not a real artist, and she was appropriating black culture, and but I don't care. Now she got 8 million or whatever amount of money. Now she could, because it got to the point where people were like being mean to her for her circumstances. I mean, she's like, I don't know anyone who's like, yo, I'm gonna put you on. All you got to do is do this. Follow the script. And you follow the script. You get put on, and now people are like, why you do that? But you can't divulge why and how. You just got to go with it. And I think in her case, she started to drink the juice, and she just started being weird. But either way, she kind of got bullied out. I don't know. I think, again, I don't really care about her in that sense. I did like the one, what song did I like? Actually, I don't think I... Anyway, but now she got her check. It was Newsline for something, and people would be upset about it. There's so many other artists, but who cares? I wish her the best. The end. I mean, I remember I was talking to someone, like, they said they seen her in Japan. She was in Shibuya or something. And they're like, yeah, she was just a normal person. Like, what do you mean she's just a normal person? Aren't we all just normal people? Like, yeah, Jay-Z is 1 point... I was doing some research, so he's 1 point whatever $billion person. Does that make him God? Although he does run around saying he is God, so maybe it's he put that out into the, I forget the word, self-actualization. If that's how it works, right? But actually, he's won whatever. But old Kanye, because it was a list, so he was at 6.6, but now he's probably at not that, but he also was running around calling himself God, so maybe that's the thing. I don't know. But all that from this one little line, that's how my mind is darting about, like a hummingbird. And I think a lot of people would be confused because my own internal logic, there's lines being connected, but the way I'm just saying it is weird, and it'd be like you don't know it. Plus, you gotta read. You don't gotta read it, but you would have to have awareness of what I'm talking about, and you would have to be open to hear it because what I'm saying. If I was talking to Pete Rock, like I, I I don't think I. The only time I type on anyone else's page is to say what's up, to say thank you, to say maybe thank you. But I've never really got into like oh, I don't agree with them. I'm gonna send a whole paragraph and cite things because usually the people they don't really care. They're not gonna. They may care. They might go home and be like, "Yo, some man checked me on my page and he was right." But fuck that. I don't care. That's just how it is. So whatever. But if I was having a conversation with him, I'm like, that's not true. Yeah, people were shooting a fair one with fighting, but people do be getting in their feelings, and after they shoot the fair one, they go around the block and then they come back and then, because in hip hop, a lot of artists are dying, and it always spikes, and then the rappers who are saying, like a 21 Savage, he'd be like, "We need to stop the gang violence, gang. We got to stop this, 21. We got to come together, gang, gang." I mean, he's not saying those, but those are the ad libs that would be in the background. Where why don't you? No, and I'm not one to say, I'm not telling anyone what they should and shouldn't do because if your child follows rappers as role models, that's a problem of your parenting skills. Now, of course, role model or rappers or whoever, they do have a certain pool that they're kind of co-parenting, you, I guess. But I remember who was it? I think it was Kanye. He was like, "I don't let my kids listen to my music." I think Cardi B was saying she doesn't want her daughter to just watch her WAP. And I think it was Future saying he doesn't do the drugs he raps about. Like they know the game. Never get high on your own supply, Biggie. Like it's like this joke. There was but then I mean I'm all over the place. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go with it. There was this guy on Vlad. Vlad is this random guy that interviews random people and talks about random stuff. I could be on there one day, but Vlad likes to he likes to make. He doesn't even make them. He just throws it out there. Oh yeah, so you remember you didn't like so and so? Like, yeah, I hate that guy. I want to kill him. In fact, I buried some people in the basement. And Vlad's like, he's always off camera, so he's just like, ha 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 ha. And then the next day, the guy is arrested from the police for divulging details of a specific crime that nobody has heard of. Maybe he works for the law. That it's been floated around. But in this particular case, he's talking to a pimp. And again, Jay-Z, I'm a pimp by blood, not relation. It was a cool, the words are cool, but he's saying more than just the words. He's saying the culture of pimping. And so here's a pimp who was living the lifestyle that Jay-Z's probably rapping about. And he's like, yeah. My daughter, she's, because Vlad's like, so would you, so he's all like, he's unapologetic. I'm a pimp and this is the rules of the game. Don't hate the game. And he's talking like how rappers make it look cool. But he's just talking because that's his lifestyle. So he's like, so what about your daughter? Because it's always that thing. Like, it usually, it's like, well, yeah, I do this to these females, but my daughter's a princess. But he's like, nah, man, I try to tell her the game, but she's with this one guy right now, and he's a pretty solid guy. And then Vlad reiterates, so your daughter's being pimped by this other guy? He's like, yeah, man, she chose that life. So, so my take is, he's being true to himself. And then it's kind of like pause. That's not the best way. But he's versus rappers or actor, whoever. Like, I do this, so I'm a perfect. But then in their behind the scenes, it usually comes out. It's like they're not perfect. He's saying I'm not perfect, or he's saying the lifestyle I chose may not be perfect, but I do it because as I said, and all this stems from this little passage. I still gotta read the damn book, but um, I read the book Iceberg Slim, another one that always comes up in rap music. Maybe he was the top of the pimps of that day. He wrote a book, and I read the book, and in the in his intro, he's like, "Yeah, I used to live that life, but now I'm a new man, and I'm writing this book so other people won't make the mistakes that I made." And then the meat of the book is him talking about how great it is. And then I think the ending is, and now I have a daughter, and I'm just trying to, keep her safe. And then there was one line where it's like, I was trying to talk to some other authors, and they were kind of disrespectful to me. They didn't think I was a real writer. Like, no, well, you're a pimp, an ex-pimp, writing about the story. You didn't get killed, Goodfellow type killed. You know how it is. They always get out, but then they're like sitting somewhere and people just roll up on them like, you thought you couldn't escape. So apparently he escaped, wrote a book. Good for him. Again, my thing is I want everyone to be happy and successful. As long as, now this is the hard part, as long as they're not as long as they're not impeding other people's happiness. But it gets tricky. Like if my album becomes number one, a Khaled type person might be upset that they're number two. And now they're gonna make life unbearable for the people that they're around, which might make their life unbearable for the people they're around, and it's all because I went number one. But I can't be in control of what people. But that's the kind of issue. If I work really hard for something, and if I'm selling a product, uh, I I start selling custom pens. It's a really hard market to get into, seeing that pens are so it's saturated. But anyway, I make a pen, and someone else he's also making pens, and he took his house, his child's education money, his wife's liver operation payment money, and he put it in the pen. All or nothing. For me, I had a longer runway. That's from another book I read. Before you like sell the house, you gotta kind of have a plan. And the longer the runway, the more time it is that you could kind of take off easily. If you have a short runway, like in some horror movies, like we gotta go, and it's like, so since it's not all or nothing for me. I have more leg room. I could kind of sit back, kind of leave things in there, kind of like the stocks. If you have a lot of money, you could just leave it in there and do your business. But if you're just betting, putting all your eggs on there, then when it dips, you're like, should I take it out? And then it's really hectic. I Somebody was telling me they do stocks, and I could never do that because I would always be checking. I'm up, I'm a millionaire, and then boom, I'm a dollar there, and then I should got like it just seems like I don't buy tickets, but when I do, every now and then, I mean, I didn't buy it because I was in Japan, but then I came home, like I'll buy one on my mom's birthday. I bought one on my birthday. I bought one when it was at $1 billion, and I'm thinking, oh shit, when I win, because that's you got to throw it out there. When I win, I'll give so and so some money, whatever. It's a lot of money. So here, take the money, whatever. Here. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna give out scholarship to. Like I had this plan I'm thinking out, and I woke up that next morning. I'm like, all right, time to start giving out the scholarships. Oh, I didn't win, but that's like a once in a lifetime. But stocks feel like it would be an everyday kind of, and I just can't. I mean, music is kind of that way. I make an album, I finish it, I push send, now it's uploaded, I go to bed, and I'm like excited, like when I wake up in the morning, and I want to see a bunch of sales. I see nothing, and I'm just. Then the next day, there's usually a delay. Like it's rare. It's really rare that I put something out. This is for like all the albums. I put something out, and then sales happen. It's usually a month later. It's like ping, you have a sale. I'm like, and there's no one around, but I have this kind of like. But it's after the fact. It's usually at the point where, okay, that album wasn't doing it well, and I'm already on to the next one. Technically, I'm on to the next one with this album, the Christmas album. Actually, technically, yeah, I have no things in the works where I'm going to talk specifically about Um, I even just forgot the name of Moonrock. Maybe I could remix it with the Christmas songs, and then it'll make it relevant. Yeah, maybe I could do that. Remix Moonrock with Christmas songs, because the vocals are clean. Usually the vocals are whatever, so I couldn't do that. And usually I don't have tempos for the songs. So then to sit there and try to, so this happens again. I'm jumping around. So I do these remixes, or I drop my. So every Friday I do these battle, not these challenges where they give us a sample and then you flip it and then you play it, and then that's that. In the school, the group, there's like, they're gonna hit 100 of these. So they've just been doing it consistently every week. No money, you don't make money from it. You don't get fame and fortune. It's very, but it's beautiful. It's just a bunch of people who, and then it's it, it's coming where it's like people are like, someone's mom died. I mean, my mom died, but I didn't like announce it to them, and they weren't following me on my Instagram, whatever. But another person's mom died, and the community, they made him songs, and they just showed so much love, as communities usually do. So it's just, so anyway, sometimes they ask me if I want to jump on one of their tracks, and I'm like, yeah, sure. The only rule is make sure you hit me up early enough, that way I could like give you the best of what I can give. So I send my vocals, I send the dubs, I send the lyric sheet, I send a rough mix of how I would have done it, and I send the acapellas. So when I send it, everything's on the beat. My name is Matt, I can rap. So my name is Matt, and I could rap. Like, it's, apparently from another book I read, Jay Dilla, the time frame, the time thing. I don't rap on the beat. In the same way a drummer shuffles or he swings. I don't, so when I'm rapping, I'm actually swinging, I'm flowing. So it'd be like, my name is Matt and I can rap, but my name is Matt and I could rap. And I never really thought of it. I just did it, but I said jazz thing, improvising, scatting. Anyway, so they'll take my clean vocal that's on the beat, and I'm still swinging on the beat, but when they bring it into their thing, they move it just a little hair. So then it's like, my name is, like, it's off to my ears because it's not how I recorded it, and they wouldn't know the timing of it. But I let them have it, whatever, do you, and it gives a even more off the beat feel. So that I'm really swinging. Of course, we don't say swinging. What do we say now? We say off the grid, because producers, we use the metronome and quantize. Say it's not quantized. Anyway, man, this was supposed to be a 3-second video, and look where we at now. All right, let me. Oh, and I have a date. We'll talk about that later. But like a breakfast date. So I was supposed to just read while I'm waiting. I better check my email now. But anyway, a lot of food for thought. There's no food because I'm going to go have breakfast. Anyway, be good, be safe, love your life, and peace.